Because when I say free at 14, you're free to do whatever you want. You have the choice to be lazy, to stop working, to stop going to school, but also to keep going. Because since primary school, you might be told that I was always first in my class, but that wasn't for nothing. Because my father, he didn't mess around. He took all his time to teach us at home. And on weekends, if he gave you a problem or some math or a dictation and you didn't get it right, you didn't get breakfast. So that's a little bit of how it was, but it forged us and it made us the men we are today. And we hope to be able to live up to that standard and pass it on to you children. And I think every parent should give the best of themselves. And you too should be grateful and recognize the work your parents do to care for us, to take care of you. So that's a brief summary of, I could say, my early childhood, how it went and what we went through.
Your professional career.
I must say, there's one thing. Today I am the head of state, but I was, how can I put it? I went through primary school, secondary school, and university like everyone else. But the love of being a soldier has always been with me. As I said, the old man was a soldier before becoming a nurse. Since childhood, those combat boots, those heavy helmets that were in the house, I would wear them. So I know that he knew I had a love for the profession, but my mother never wanted to have a child in the military. And in CM1, I took the excellence competition. And in CM2, my teacher absolutely wanted me to take the entrance exam for the Prétané, but my mother was fiercely opposed. She had surely seen the suffering of my father as a soldier, so she didn't want any of her children to be in the military. She refused. I kept on working hard. I have a scientific inclination, which is why I followed a scientific track all the way to university, where I studied geology. There you go. After my baccalaureate, I wanted to join the army again, but she refused. But when she refused me something, I couldn't force it, because if you force things, it's not good. So I continued. In my master's year again, at university, I asked her again, I told her, it's the army I want. I was doing well in geology. I could have done whatever I wanted, you see. I had many scholarship opportunities because I wasn't exactly at the bottom of my class, you see. But it was during my master's year that she finally gave me her permission. And I took the academy's entrance exam. I went for my training and, well, I became an army officer. I was convinced that if she had given me her blessing, if she told me to do it this time, then I was certain and I knew what I was doing. This is to say that, as I was saying, at 14 years old, you find yourself all alone in a big city, and it's not easy. I was at the Lycée Mixte d'Acarville, for example, for secondary school, but I was living in Sarfalau, which is about 7 kilometers away. But I can tell you that I walked for a good while. Morning and evening I would walk there and back until perhaps a friend of an older brother lent me his bicycle. But I believed in what I wanted to do. It was, how can I put it, it's a conviction. What our father taught us from childhood, as I said, he guided us, and we always wanted to be better, and that meant we never gave up. The goal was to always be the best at school, and so nothing could ever divert us from that path. And with the upbringing we had, even if we didn't eat, that's no reason to get discouraged. Yes, because those 3 years of secondary school were not that simple. It was a bit difficult. Very often it was one meal a day, but that's okay. I cooked for myself, I did everything myself, but I had to stay focused on the objective. What mattered to me was that at the end of the term, I had to get a certain grade average, and that was it. So that's what guided us, if I may say so. Does that satisfy you, or should I detail some other points that you...
No, thank you, that's enough.
All right.
I'll pass the floor to my colleagues for the rest of the interview.
All right.
Mr. President, we noticed that many of our brothers and sisters are not in school because of terrorism. What do you plan to do to support and facilitate their schooling?
You are absolutely right. Many have been forcibly taken out of school because of this phenomenon that has brought us so much grief. And I think that at the start of this school year, we were still able to open many schools. But it must be said that our ambition is to be able to create modern schools. Modern schools in the sense that we first need to create proper communities where we can establish all the necessary social and professional structures, and schools are a part of that. We are thinking every day about how to create modern schools. Because today there are many villages that people cannot return to or that people have had to abandon. Right now, people are currently located in certain specialized centers where we have carefully set up a comprehensive framework for them to study and learn effectively, but it's not the best framework for us. So we want to bring people back to the major centers, but we want to create modern schools, meaning places where children can thrive. It's not about having a class with, over 100 students, which is quite overcrowded, where instructors struggle to teach. That kind of situation already exists, and we've set certain conditions for it. But the objective is to truly to build modern schools. This year, we've already been able to build a few schools in certain cities. It's true that people don't have this information, but perhaps a report will be made soon. Schools were built even before the holidays in some centers where there were a lot of displaced people. But the goal when we bring people back to their schools is to create new schools where children can learn and truly flourish. So that process is also underway. We opened many schools for this new school year. So many students have returned to their classes. Many centers that were closed have reopened. But we are in the process of building new modern schools so that children can study and have, the same opportunities as those in unaffected areas.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, we would like to know what the government is doing to guarantee the protection of the rights and the security of children in Burkina Faso.
I believe that is, first and foremost, the government's main mission. The entire struggle that people are waging is to guarantee the rights of children, if I may say so.